by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
At Kansas, under Bill Self, the Jayhawks at home on Big Monday are a perfect 37-0. And this place is jumping. What else is due?
Did a great job on their big three, especially. But yeah, guys, this storyline, you guys can do it however you want to. The storyline, you could say defense or whatever. The storyline to me on tonight is how the guys responded after really crappy last 48 hours.
And how hard they played on defense really put us in a tough spot and on our heels in that first half. And Coach Self's been the gold standard in this league for many years, so anytime that you come in here, how difficult and challenging it's going to be.
Man, for the city of Kansas, opportunity to do something that's never been done before, to be put on the Mount Rushmore of greatest teams in history across any sport ever.
Yeah, I think they're a great team, and you can see by their play how great they are, both sides of the ball and special teams.
Any game in the NFL that you play, any game really that I've been coaching as you play, you think about the things that you did well. Then you think about the things that you didn't do well.
And I expect this team to not be intimidated by the moment, by the week of. I think they are better prepared for that. They acknowledge they did not do well in making adjustments at halftime. The Chiefs obviously did a better job 2 years ago.
Listen, I think from a lot of those theories are things that happen in social media, and they get a new life. As you say, it's not your theory, but it's out there. Nobody.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is a Tuesday show. Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson is in, and our executive producer of Sports Day is Landon Winkler. Any rebroadcast or republication of anything that you hear on this show cannot be done without the express written consent of Landon Winkler. It's a lot of responsibility the young man has.
So do I have to ask him if I rip off anything else that I want to put on the show? I would never do that.
No, never, ever, ever. And he's in charge of destroying shows that are right after maybe something was said during the program that we didn't say that.
There's no FCC protections on YouTube.
All right, welcome into the program today. Voice of Cougars, Cole Reif's going to be in. We'll talk to Great Bend Panther color analyst Mike Marzoff, who he is alive. I sent him a text. He said he had a 103-degree temperature yesterday. I guess he's alive. He sent me a text back. Either it was crystal. I don't know. So I guess he's okay. And on the show today, Mike Corson will go on the prowl for Panther Sports. He'll be talking with Great Bend Panther wrestlers Tristan Tomlinson and Hayden Kelly. But first, we bring you another thing that we like to do. We do it on Sports Day, or when we do it in the AM Great Bend Show, we have special tips for homeowners. I mean, today we talked about how to find great ideas on how to fix things on YouTube. So my advice to you is, if you get a beautiful day like Sunday, and it's just gorgeous, and you go out and turn your sprinklers on, make sure that you flick the switch back over so it doesn't come on when it's like 8 degrees outside. I probably am facing like 7 or 8 lawsuits because there's nothing but ice in front of my house where it's sprinkling this, and where the sprinklers were working just perfect this morning at about 5:05.
Is your grass looking pretty green? There's a little sheen to it right now.
Yeah, I told it do not, and when you're, by the way, you hear that phone?
Here's a DIY sale. Hey, Marzoff, come roll around in Webby's yard. It's mutually beneficial. You'll cool down and melt the ice.
I have just been getting inundated. Do you know who this guy is? Probably fraud.
Oh, yesterday it was P-Spam.
It was potential spam. Today, Probably Fraud is calling me up. You ever met Probably Fraud's sister? Man, she's pretty good looking.
No, but I think
Actually Fraud is what it means.
A weird mustache.
All right, you ready? Where's my stuff at here? Okay. The call last night on ESPN before the game even started. Give Jayhawk fans credit. They could have been, having their old daubers down a little bit. That place was electric last night at the start of the game. I didn't last too much longer than that, but at 8 o'clock, it was really, really good. John Shambi on ESPN, as they're getting ready to tip it off against Iowa State, and saying that KU was 37-0 all-time at home on Big Monday. You can make that 38-0 right now after KU goes out and defeats Iowa State 69-52. So Kansas now in a tie with the Cyclones at 7-4. Bill Self talking the story should be because after the crappy weekend when they blew a 21-point lead, they bounced back. I didn't know if they would or not. That was a pretty good win last night. When KU wants to play defense, they can crank it up.
And we've seen all these teams go up and go down. K-State was awful. K-State's awesome. Iowa State was number 3 in the country. Now they've gotten drubbed 2 games in a row. KU's had some awful losses, but they can beat anybody in the country. Get them in the tournament, see how it shakes out. I will say, if Bill Self if he wants the story to be a certain way, he just has to answer the questions that way. Hey, Bill, what'd you think about the floor tonight? Was it clean? I thought our guys rebounded well from last week's big loss. You got to make that. You can't tell them how to write the story.
Yes, you can. If you're Bill Self, you can tell the media to do anything you want, or you won't be covering their games.
It is.
Then there's that. Yeah, you can say, my God, I won't do it. What, Coach? Okay, well, we've got Lawrence Seabury is playing at home tonight.
Calls the Lawrence Journal-World. Hey, why don't you send over Smith next time? Get rid of this guy.
Like I said, Lawrence Seabury's playing on a Monday night makeup game. You can go do that one. Zeke Mayo, 17 points. Hunter Dickinson had 14. How about Iowa State? They've lost 3 in a row now. 3 games in a row, including that miserable 19-point loss to K-State. Who plays tonight? Are you going to stay up for it? It's a 9 o'clock tip.
Possibly.
Okay.
Is it televised?
Yeah, ESPN Plus.
No respect. 2 more wins and they'll start getting...
No. They've already got that out. Oh, okay. The game Saturday will probably be on something else other than ESPN Plus since they play KU.
Yes.
Let's see. Basketball tonight, high school basketball. The Great Bend Panthers have tonight off. They don't play again until Friday when they're home against Liberty. Do you have a date yet for homecoming?
I know I'll be there.
I mean,
am I up for king or queen? I don't get. They don't vote for me.
So in the WAC tonight, Dodge City is at Garden City. Sunrise Christian Academy at Hayes tonight.
Which team?
Well, it's not the not the elite. It's the second level that we've seen at the Kingman tournament until they got kicked out, and then they went up to Russell this year and won that tournament. They're like locusts. They come in and they eat up all the teams, and then no one wants them around anymore. Then they go to another.
So does Dryland have to email the team and say, Coach, which squad you bringing tonight, or is it just assumed that he won't sick his big dogs on you?
I don't know. It depends on if you beat the middle team. Oh, yeah, our guys are just hanging around. They're not doing anything tonight. That'll be an interesting matchup because I think Sunrise Christian's got a pretty decent girls team, too. So see how they do against unbeaten Hayes tonight. And Hooker, Oklahoma, this team is good. They have just been running roughshod, them and Woodward, over teams from the Western Athletic Conference. And Hooker is really, really good. Well, they play at Liberal tonight, and the Liberal girls have been playing better. The boys' game is just going to be a complete train wreck. But I found out something earlier that I had always thought that Hooker's mascot was the Horny Toads. It is for their American Legion baseball team, which has always been known as the Horny Toads, because you can go through Hooker and you say, Horny Toads, home of the Horny Toads. Their actual high school mascot is the Dogs. Just a dog.
D-A-W-G.
With a W, dog.
Yeah.
But the Horny Toads are not their high school team.
Sports in Kansas just put out again greatest mascot in Kansas, and obviously it's the Pratt Greenback. There's no question. But is there a single DOG out there in Kansas? Just like a pointer standing there. The dogs, not dogs, dogs. Can I pet that dog?
And their girls' team goes by the Lady Dogs. The Lady Dogs.
The opponents sometimes have.
Well, Liberal goes, they don't go by red. The girls' basketball, they go by Lady Red.
Smith Center as well.
The Lady Red?
Yeah. But we'll have to get you a Booker, Oklahoma dog shirt.
I want a Hooker, Oklahoma horny toad baseball shirt. I guess it's been going on forever down there. So, anyway, that's the information we like to give you here on the program. Other games tonight. In the Central Kansas League, the Houston Cardinals will continue. The boys, they've been playing some defense. I think Hess said something, given them like 35 points a game since Christmas. They're at home tonight against Smoky Valley. Another chance to get a win. Larned heads to the old stomping grounds in Hillsboro, Kansas, home of the Tabor College Blue Jays, where tonight they will take on the Hillsboro Trojans. Let's see. Victoria's at Ellenwood tonight. Otis Bison at Central Plains. St. John at Chase. Kinsley at Sublette. Maxville plays at La Crosse. And Stafford. They will be in the legendary field house at Pratt Skyline High School tonight. You can see the entire schedule at GreatBendPost.com. High school basketball last night. This game was made up. It was I think it was a second game after the Christmas break when we had that nor'easter or whatever it was that moved through here and had the cold temperatures and the snow. Cunningham and Maxville were supposed to play. And I think it's after the game you went out to Jetmore on, the game at Hodgman County. They played last night in Maxville. Man, that Cunningham team must be pretty good. They beat Maxville last night 81-59, Mike.
Yeah, they've seen him, I'm guessing it's a lot of the same football kids that they've been having their run in 6A. So for a little 1A school, yeah, they bring it. I was going to bring up what we haven't talked about. Did you hear about this Easton Alpers freshman down at St. John, what he did?
Yeah, we talked about it on the show yesterday at Jim Mizunas.
Gotcha.
Okay. By the way, Maxville girls beat Cunningham 54-28.
Thought I had something.
Well, you need to listen to the show after you leave because there are things that go on that we discuss on the program. But again, another Sports Day salute to Easton Alpers. Two half-court shots not in the same game, but in two separate games on a.
Yeah. My hot take was that it was a legit three-quarter court shot, unlike the Iowa State one.
No, you're talking about the Arizona
game. I get it mixed.
Okay, all right, very good. Let's see, Super Bowl stuff. They had the big. What do you got to do to get credentials to be a media person? Cinco de Mayo or whatever his name was, he was down there last night asking questions.
Ocho Cinco somehow got into the World Cup as soccer media.
Well, he got in there last night. He was asking questions.
He's kind of interesting, actually. He was kind of a jerk when he played, but he's got a little personality.
Okay, Justin Reed last night. This was interesting.
Man, for the city of Kansas, opportunity to do something that's never been done before.
For the state of Kansas, never. He must live in Overland Park or someplace like that, because it's for the state of Kansas. The Chiefs are going to set history on. Andy Reid, and the Eagles they're tough. Nick Sirianno says the organization learned from their previous loss, 38-35, and Scott Grayson on 97.3 ESPN also feels like the Eagles are more prepared for the Super Bowl than they were 2 years ago. And Roger Goodell.
So he kind of hides away most of the year, so he shows up for this, and all of a sudden he's getting asked about everything but the Super Bowl.
Why are the officials? And that's what he said. He not the one we had on that you heard there, but he said, well, why don't you just bet on them? Why don't you bet on the Chiefs? If our guys are trying to get them to win so many games, just bet on the Chiefs, man. You'll do really good. Super Bowl, the 8th played at the Dome in New Orleans. First one since 2013. Oh, I wanted to ask you about this because I knew you'd have a take on it, except I laid my other papers on it. It's a track and field thing, Mike. Aren't you excited? Oh, Olympic sprinting champion Noah Lyle says he wants to race Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill next. Because I think Tyreek Hill was mouthing off, said he could beat him in a race.
So he recently did what they run the 60 meters indoor. He smoked everybody, pulls off his
Tyreek never
his
could
bib, and he had written a message to Tyreek Hill on the back of it. So there's a mix on track and field fans whether it's appropriate or whether Noah should shut his mouth and have a little class. But also what got thrown out was the champions of what? When Tyreek Hill says, we're the world champions, and Noah Lyles, who actually runs against world competition, says, champions of what?
Who raced the horse? Was that Jesse Owens? He raced a quarter horse or something back in the day?
Peter doesn't allow it anymore.
No, it didn't. The horse pulled up.
Horse had
and
feelings.
he ended up winning. All right, Cole Rife coming up next here on Sports Day.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Martin Community College presents Sing Sing Blues, a powerful, original musical about life, love, and redemption behind prison walls. Step back to 1954 and witness the lives of the incarcerated men of Sing Sing Prison as they explore their relationships with the loved ones who won't give up on them. Don't miss this unforgettable story February 20th through the 23rd and visit shows.bartonccc.edu for tickets.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Rife on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day brought to you in part as well by Equity Bank, where they add value for their customers and communities. Equity Bank in Gray Bend, Hoiston, and Larned. See their locations tab at equitybank.com to find the location nearest you, and by Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish and continued support. They have you covered. Okay, Cole Rife, your take on this. I mean, Gorson said, over a short distance, he's going to take the horse, but over long distances, humans will eventually win.
Depends what human you put out there. Because if you're talking you're like me, there's no way I'm going to be dead after the first 100 yards.
So you're not saying you've got 3 or 4 miles left in
that
initial sprint. Okay,
I'll be lucky to get to the first mile. So yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think the average human could.
Because I think that's where the Kenyans are always really good.
Yeah, but they're the upper echelon. That's
but that's why they
1%.
You've watched those they'll chase like a jaguar or a cheetah when they want to catch it. I mean, there's no way they can just run up, boom, and then they chase them down. But eventually the cat tires, and they just keep running behind them. They keep running behind them, and eventually they get their cat.
That's why most of those cats are ambush predators, except for the cheetah. It will take off in advance. I only know this because we read a bunch of versus books at home with the 7-year-old. So most of them are ambush predators, so they have to save their energy, so they just strike real quickly. But the cheetah will actually sprint out in advance because it has a little bit more stamina. But
eventually you're going to get caught by the Kenyan marathon runners.
Exactly. Okay. I guess after a few miles,
okay, very good. I threw you under the bus yesterday because you should have been thrown under the bus because I could tell in the tone of your voice. I'd pulled into my driveway and it's 40 seconds left. And it was every play-by-play guy's got it. It's the impending voice of loss.
Yeah, I would agree.
That it's coming, and so okay, well, I guess that's going to do it. Man, it's tough. They've been nice to win down there, and then I don't know. It was like Saturday night. Checking Great Bend Post, and the Lady Cougars won. What? Landon put the wrong score on there.
Well, I think what made it probably gloomier than maybe most games under 45 seconds and down by 8 was that, like, the whole game, it's not like you hit a whole lot of threes anyway. So it wasn't like you were shooting a really good percentage. And there really weren't great moments of showing that, like, you were going to break the press of, like, not turning the ball over. So, and then once they flipped the script, and then they got, like, a 5-second call on Callie, got a steal at midcourt that leaked out to a runner for Elena Eck. Then it was kind of like, okay, well, here we go. And then, then they made 2 free throws.
So then you got a little
then you had to like slowly dial it back in because you didn't want to just ramp it up all at once after you were kind of in the doom and gloom in the final 45 seconds. So you want to kind of slowly crescendo to it.
I got you. Yep.
So hopefully I was able to do that by the time Eck. Gosh, you talk about like a dead spot on the back of the iron. Like, I mean, I don't know how big that plate is. So
Elena said yesterday, so well, it crawled in there.
It crawled in there. It died in there. Like, it was a good looking shot. Don't get me wrong, but like it hit that back plate and then it just like the ball just like flattened.
How does it do that?
It went in. I have no idea.
I've seen, but there's like 2 of them.
Soft touch.
It's a deflated.
It seemed like it because usually, I mean, if you hit that back plate square on, boing, like usually it's a pretty hard hit, like, unless you hit it somewhat on the inner part of the cylinder, then it might cozy its way in there. But like when you hit it on the back plate, you don't see too many that just.
Okay, so then I would have stayed with the game. Okay, and I said, "Man, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna listen to him." And then I still had to go in. I still had some things to do. I don't want to see it. I'm in my driveway right now, so I would have probably gone in again because you'd have said, it looks like the Lady Cougars are going to get out of here with a win. Not so fast, my friend. Then you had to kind of ramp it up again because then it got a little scary there late.
For the overtime?
In the overtime.
Yeah, overtime I felt better until the very last possession. You just talk about the weirdest game. But yeah, you built up a 4-point lead, and I think that one was under, Ashley, under a minute to go, and you were still up by 4 points. And then you had the ball, and you had a chance to get free throws and missed both of those, so it stayed a 3-point game. They got a layup. And then, you just had to throw that ball in and maybe hit some free throws and close things out. But that wouldn't have been the way that game at Cali was supposed to go down. Like, the way that one shook out, I felt like was probably the most appropriate ending to the entire game. Was those final 2 shot attempts underneath the basket for Cali at point blank that came up empty. And, early on, from our corner perspective, like they were going toward the stage, so it was away from us. So it was hard to tell. But it did look like there was contact on the first shot. But then I watched the replay, and Eck kind of did a good job kind of, like, sliding by her. Like, it altered her path to the basket, but I don't think she ever actually hit her. So, like, I thought that was a pretty clean play at the end, and then, Pyle just missed a shot. So, yeah, what an appropriate way to finish out that game.
Oh, and what a huge win.
Huge. They're ready to start making movement now.
Well, they're tied with Garden and Colby, 7-9. Colby and Cali and Cloud are 8-8. I mean, you can still get up there as deep a hole as they were. And now they're back at least to 500. I mean, gosh, you can get up there. Who knows? Maybe you get at least 6th. That'd be pretty good.
No, I think, trying to get one of those home games is definitely a possibility for Barton right now. I mean, I think, there's going to be a push, try to maybe even get up as close as 5 or 6, like you said. I think, Seward County has a little bit extra breathing room at 9-7, but Colby and Cali, they play each other coming up here on Wednesday night, so that will help. One of those teams will drop to 8-9. If you can pull off the upset against Butler tomorrow, then that's going to be huge as well, because then you look at the rest of their schedule, you got a matchup with Seward County, you have Pratt coming up on Saturday, then you have Seward County, you have some winnable games too, some good ones, but you also have some winnable games in there too after the stretch.
For the Cougar men, that was a tough one because, didn't Butler lose too? Yeah, Butler lost to Dodge. who's all of a sudden surging.
Yeah, how about those guys?
Hutchinson loses again. And, yeah, you'd be in third right now. But that wasn't the case. I mean, you're playing at Cali, so that's tough.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, because it was such a difference between winning and losing that game. If you win that game, you're kind of thinking, okay, hey, conference championship, let's go. You lose that game, and now you're full 3 games back with 8 to play. And again, we've seen crazier things in the final standings, and now it does seem like some of those top teams are maybe a little bit more vulnerable. Because, I didn't expect Dodge to beat Coffeyville and Cali, in the first go-around. So I thought Cali would kind of have an easy way of it. So for them to even stumble once. But, man, Saturday was kind of their prime example of why, even before Christmas, I was really high on Cali. Just the way they defend. I think the word dismantling would be a good way to put that game on Saturday because they took Barton completely out of what they wanted to do. Offensively, they were good. They hit enough shots. I mean, they shot over 50%, but, you could tell it was sparked from their defense. And, Barton was completely taken out of it. Even, a guy like Drake Kendall, as good as he is, and he can shoot threes, you could kind of tell he got bagged a little bit. He started taking a few more threes that he normally probably doesn't take. Just a complete, really good showing defensively by Cali. Took Barton out of it. And, sometimes you have days like that. And it just one of those bad timing for Barton in a huge matchup in early February. But it's Cali, man. It's Cali. I give all the credit to Cali because you look at the last 2 years, even in a national championship year a year ago, 4 games now with Cali, and Cali's won 3 of the last 4. And then the game that Barton won last year was 2 points at third place, 75-73. So, and I think even the 2 previous years, because Donnie Jackson's been there 4 years, Coach Combs has been there 4 years, and I think they split in the first 2 years. So it's Cali.
Where'd Jackson come from?
He was at Northern Oklahoma College, Tonkawa. He spent, I think, at least 7 years there. And they were good. I mean, that's hard to do at Tonkawa. I mean, because he had those guys rolling because there was the year that Coffeyville won the championship in 2021 in the COVID year, Tonkawa took Coffeyville to an overtime game, I think, in the Elite Eight. Like you can make that, the 6 degrees of a championship, but you can make that case that, Tonkawa was probably pretty close to winning a national championship that year, but, ran into Coffeyville in the Elite Eight. So, yeah, I mean, he had that team rolling and just those first 2 years, you could tell defensively was good, but they just didn't have enough firepower. But now they're starting to figure it out these last 2 years as far as just having to be a little bit more efficient. You don't have to be great offensively when you're that good defensively. So, they're a thorn in the side right now, and hopefully, maybe Barton will get another chance at him in the Region 6.
Okay, so when you've been doing in the Jayhawk Conference as long as you have now, I mean, you're double digits now, right? 10th year right now?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
All right. So, and you've been to a couple national tournaments. So, I mean, and so I'm just going to, I'm curious because you see the rankings come out all the time, and you've got your own embedded in there. They're from that region. They're from that region. So, okay. So let's go down the top 10 here.
Okay.
Snow College, 22-1. You buying or selling them number 1?
I'll buy on that. Now, as far as, if Cali met up with them or a team from the Jayhawk or a team from Florida, could they beat Snow? I don't know. But no, I'm buying
their ranking is, I don't know. Okay.
I'll buy most of the top 10.
Okay.
Right now. Top 10, I'm feeling pretty good about.
Yeah, because, you feel good. Trinity Valley, okay, you can get the Texas schools. You always pretty much buy on them, don't you? I mean, or the Florida schools.
I mean, Barton's had good success with Texas.
Yeah, that's what
but yeah, I would buy on those.
Midland College, they should really, with all the, promotion that Landman is giving them right now, that Midland should, Jones College.
Now, Jones didn't perform overly well. You talk about national tournaments. And so, because you always build up teams like KU and, how well they do also at the tournaments. Now, there are some schools like Jones that doesn't necessarily have the same track record at the national tournament. So, I won't buy on Jones. I won't buy on Jones. But I think they are
Triton's
good.
back. I mean, they're ranked 7th right now.
I'll buy on Triton. I've seen that firsthand.
Vincennes, that goes back to my boyhood. I mean, as one of these programs has been around forever. Is that still a tough region they come from?
Yep, Vincennes solid.
South Plains?
South Plains always has the talent. I thought maybe they had too much talent last year because it caused some problems, I think, as far as playing time. And, we've talked about how Barton's made that transition over the years, even the final few years of Fletch, of what type of personnel you get in there. South Plains, obviously there's talks of, maybe they're one of the first JUCOs to kind of dive into the NIL a little bit for some of those players. But, I'll buy on South Plains. They're still good.
And then you get to Florida. Okay, Panola, Pensacola, Chipola, Northwest Florida State. All of them back-to-back from 12 to 15. Moberly. Moberly used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I still recognize it as being a good program, but I don't know. Is their region strong?
Yeah, I think Moberly knocked off Coffeyville earlier in the year, back in November. They're one of the teams, because remember, Mineral Area got knocked because they didn't have the strength of schedule last year. Then they came here to Barton and played.
Will they play in the same league or region?
Yeah, they'll play in the same league.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, if a few of those teams are down, like, you play each other 3 times in that Missouri, because I think there's only 6 Division I's. I think there's a St. Louis team, Moberly, Mineral, Three River, so there's only like a handful of teams, so you play each other 3 times. And so that was always the case with the Florida teams too. Like, I get it, Florida has a reputation, but there are times that you would play a team that went 2-20 and you'd play them 3 times. And then if the traditional powers were down, you're still playing teams 3 times. So like, you could load up 12 wins against 4 teams that have combined like 6 wins. So like, I don't know. The strength of schedule is always questionable to me.
Okay, so say Barton gets into the national tournament this year and they have to take on Columbia State.
I feel good.
Okay. How about Dawson Community College, ranked number 24? Where's Dawson Community?
That sounds like a Midwestern team. That sounds That sounds like an Illinois team. I don't know though. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm not. I can't buy on these. Like,
what about the Oklahoma schools like Murray State and there's another one in there?
NEO is really good. I mean, they just lost and they stumbled a little bit in the poll. But Frank Phillips has typically been good down in Texas. But like NEO,
Frank Phillips is from Texas. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, but NEO loaded up on a bunch of JVs, so like they got up there in the poll early on, and their strength of schedule wasn't overly great. Oklahoma, that whole conference in general, it usually doesn't get a whole lot of respect. Connor State's went to the Final Four last year, beat Hutchinson last year. So, I mean, there's typically 1 or 2 teams that are good. It's just overall it hasn't had a great record.
Good balance in the regions, more so maybe?
In Region 6?
Yeah. I mean, just in regions across the country. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I think you have 2 separate divisions down in Texas, and between both of them, you're sitting pretty good. Then I think you have a bunch of teams scattered about, like a Triton, up in Illinois, those types of teams that are kind of the outliners, but, even like a Vincennes. But, no, I think pretty good balance. I think Region 6 is still really, really good. This year, more than even last year, they're beating up on each other, though. So, like, if you were to tell me if there were no automatic berths and the committee was just going to select all 24 teams, and you're going to say, hey, you're going to get 2 or 3 from the Jayhawk, I don't know who you take at this point. I think Cali's probably the clear cut that they're in. Like, if you had to go all selections. But then, if you're going to say, hey, you can get 2 more in, I mean, I think you can make a case for Coffeyville. I think you can make a case for Butler. I think you can make a case for Barton. They're getting to the cusp. I think teams like Butler and even Barton, maybe even Coffeyville a tad, but especially Barton and Butler, you're getting to the cusp of you probably can't lose too many more if you're going to be even in that conversation for an at-large. Because right now I think they're on the bubble. Butler would be Barton. If one of them got in, I wouldn't be overly shocked. But I don't think you can stumble too much more. Like 6 losses to me, period. It changes every year, but like 6 losses to me is kind of that cutoff. Like in your head, you got to be thinking, okay, hey, we got more than 6 losses, trying to get in that large bid is going to be pretty difficult. Because I think Hutch got in last year with 6 losses, and they were really good and deserving to. But beyond 6,
that's the number of letters in their name, and with the tournament tells that.
beyond 6 losses, it gets a little bit tough. So like right now, I think like this is a huge game with Barton and Butler. You talk about, you know, if that both of them had the capability of winning the Region 6 tournament, but
16-5, 17-5.
Yeah, like if you want to have a legitimate chance to maybe, you know, put yourself in position for that at-large conversation here in a few weeks, you know, you can't stumble too many more in the regular season.
Cole Reif with does San Jacinto still play now? I mean, they used to, or did they close the truck driving portion of that school down there?
Shut that down. They shut that down.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
San Jac was. Oh, yeah. They were one of the ones. Okay, Cole, thanks. Cole Reif with us here. We're going to talk Panther basketball up next.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today we want to give a shout out to all the supporting cast at these basketball games. We have some great young men and young women on the court, but we also have some great young men and women playing their instruments, cheering, dancing, all those things. Let's clap for them. When they perform and get done, let's show them a round of applause, show them some love as well, because they deserve it. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Covering your local teams and your local athletes. It's Sports Day on KVGB, presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day here on a Tuesday, brought to you by the Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country, and by Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. My broadcast partner for Panther basketball, Mike Marzoff, joining us right now. Mike, when we first started traveling around like for Fort Hays State like in 1990, and through the mountains, it'd be cold, even whatever. We were never sick. Man, this year either you're sick or I'm sick. What is happening, Marzoff?
Man, that's crazy. I would never get sick. Man, I had
you still sound
pretty good. My fever at 103.5 yesterday. I've got it back down to about 101 today, so it's going in the right direction.
So thanks for getting up just to join me on the show here. Nothing like a good 24-hour nap to make you feel better. Okay.
Hanging out with my dogs.
Okay. I hope this stuff doesn't cross over to the animals, or maybe that's where you got it. I have no idea. They went out and ate a bird. Maybe you got bird flu or something right now. Okay, well, are you gonna be ready for Friday or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
I feel better today than yesterday. Yesterday was not a good day. I can say that.
Okay, so Great Bend now 13-1. And I think that I will proclaim that with that victory over Hayes, Great Bend got a piece of the Western Athletic Conference title. And of course, if they would stumble somewhere else against Dodge or Liberal or on the road to Garden City, I will say that you were the one that proclaimed that. But really right now for conference, it comes down to that return trip to Hayes. That ought to be a fun one. Final game of the regular season, late February, where the two teams, I believe, will probably play for the last time at the old Hayes High Gym.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know they have not seen Dodge City yet.
Right.
They've seen Liberal. Liberal comes back in here. I don't see that being a big problem. Garden City, I don't think Great Bend had their best effort that night. You get a Great Bend playing well. I don't think there's much trouble with Garden City. So, yeah, I agree. Probably at least a share of the title was won Friday. And Hayes battled. Hayes did a good job with them, but I think Great Bend's the better team. That doesn't always mean you're going to win games, especially in Hayes. We know this rivalry. We've known it from back in 1990, right?
Yeah.
It's been going on. We've seen both sides of it, and the hostility is equal on both sides.
So Great Bend comes out and an 11-0 start. They had three 3-pointers, two from Minton, and then Ben got the other one, and then it was Dax knocking down that three to start the fourth quarter. So is this something that Dax Minton is all of a sudden a three-point shooter, or somewhere in between?
The crazy thing about shooting, especially threes, it's a lot of it's confidence. Once you start thinking you can do it, you can do it. And they always say, oh, yeah, we heard Coach Cree saying, I don't disagree with you. Well, they make them practice. They make them practice. Well, practice and game are different. But once you start knocking them down in a game situation, and you could see Dax's light just come on. Once he hit the one, he was ready for the next time. And I think he missed one in between there, but he was looking to shoot the three. We've not seen that from him. Usually Dax gets the ball, likes to pump fake and drive to the basket, but which he still did, and he's still very good at that. But he was looking for that three-pointer in the second half, and if you can add that aspect to this Great Bend team, look out.
And they're going to have to probably do that again. I mean, Hayes was very effective. One of the things, and of course, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. I mean, Cooper Omott comes back because this team likes to get out and run, but the defense that helps them run more than any others is the 1-3-1, but they don't play it as well unless it's Omott on the bottom. That's my opinion. So that's their. I mean, forcing tempo. I think that's, I mean, right now if you're like, well, how are you going to beat them? Well, okay, you want to slow it down and, make them beat you from the outside, right? So, that's one of the ways that they're able to force tempo. That'd be the only way. And Hayes did a pretty good job of slowing the tempo down until Great Bend went crazy there in the second half.
Yeah, and they did a pretty good job of protecting the middle for a while. Hayes did. They played some zone, but they played man mostly, but they were really a sagging man. They were really protecting that middle. And as we saw, though, in that third quarter, once those first 2 threes were made, and I believe Ben made one too, right? There was like 3 threes there fairly early, as you said. The inside suddenly opened up. It's magical, right? You start hitting shots from the outside, and all of a sudden the inside opens up. It's crazy.
I thought when Sean Dryling came out and started in a 2-3 zone the second half, did you see the wheels just kind of ground? It took Great Bend like 35 seconds just to get into their zone offense. And then they hit the 3, and then they said, okay, we're going to go back man. I'm glad they got out of that zone at that point.
Yeah, I still feel today some team just guards the paint and makes sure they get hit from the outside, and they're not hitting them. But the more we go, I'm starting to see that three-point shot get more effective. Early in the year, they were shooting it, I feel like, way too much. They really backed off that, but I think they're shooting it more effectively now. They're probably making as many threes as they did early. I know what they make there night, 3 or 4.
They made 4, yeah.
The only 2 games have made more than that, and they didn't take a huge amount either.
Well, 16. That's.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot for Great Bend.
Yeah, they were 4-16. They weren't making them in the first half, so.
Yeah, they were over 7 in the first half, I believe is what it was. Yeah, I think they come out and hit those early in the second half. But this team, they like to get out and run, and Ben Nicholson at the top of that 1-3-1 is good at the top of I've seen. And then you've got Cooper down at the bottom with his great athleticism. Could really, if you do get the ball, what kills Great Bend sometimes that 1-3-1 is a three-pointer. And when they make that skip pass from the top of the wing across court to the corner, Cooper's got the ability to get over and guard that.
Yes.
And a lot of people down there don't, and that's, I think, where Great Bend gets in some trouble is when they're hitting that 3-point shots without Cooper in that corner, and Cooper not able to get over there. It makes a big difference when Cooper's in there. But as far as the tempo, Great Bend's good at up tempo. But I believe this team could really settle into a nice half-court game because of the inside presence they have.
Yeah.
And the rebounding ability is tremendous.
Yeah, and Ben Nicholson's been doing his rebounding numbers have been going up, and what a season he's had this year. Okay, we'll talk again next week. We'll talk Friday, too. Biggest game of the year could be a game against Heston. You know, I mean, you don't want to win the WAC and be number 1 seed in the 5A West and, you know, be 0-2 against the CKL.
Yeah. And Heston's so legit. I mean, it's not like, oh, gosh, that's just a little 3A school we can't pay attention to. They're good.
Yeah, so's Haven. So, anyway.
Yeah, 3A basketball could be really good.
Mikey, get well. We'll see you Friday, okay?
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Mike Marzoff, our color analyst for Great Bend Panther basketball here on the show today, brought to you in part by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. And Equity Bank, here when you need us. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Mike Corson, up next. He's going to be talking wrestling with Panthers Tristan Tomlinson and Hayden Kelly here on Sports Day on the Mighty 1590.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Jumpstart your education with Barton Online. You can pick up a class or earn an associate degree for less than half the cost of a university. We are always enrolling. Start when it works for you. Choose from 5 sessions throughout the semester, including 16, 8, and 4-week options. Save big on the way toward your career or tackle your gen eds with our low-cost pathway. Visit online.bartoncccc.edu and enroll today.
As a farmer, I have thousands of more mouths to feed than the average person. What fuels me to get the job done? The smell of the soil and the hum of the combine. What fuels my equipment? Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, a premium diesel fuel for the most challenging conditions. Better than any formula yet, delivering maximum uptime every time. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
For the past 13 years, Sports Day has been the show devoted to local sports and local athletes. And it's all brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day 1590, KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by senior Jay Schartz, and Hayden Kelly was going to join us but had some family situations, so we're going to be joined instead by junior Tristan Tomlinson. Been a busy week for you guys. Let's talk about first, you guys see quite a bit of good competition anyway, I think, in Class 5A, but how fun is it to go out to things like Prairie Coon up in Hayes or Rocky Welton out in Garden City back-to-back tournaments, basically?
It's really cool, especially this year they had some more teams. So there was like Lincoln Christian and Creighton Prep, who's top 5 team in the country. They were there. They actually won the Kansas City Stampede, so they brought a lot of good guys. And I mean, I think out of all my years I've went, this is the most out-of-state teams we've ever had. So we got to watch a lot of good wrestling and also got to wrestle a lot of good guys. So it was really fun.
And I would say maybe it builds you back up when you come and see some maybe lesser opponents, but a lot of those are guys that you might see at State, Newton, Goddard, that type of deal. But Tristan, how big are seeing quality opponents mid-season when you only got regionals 2 weeks away?
I'd for sure have to say, seeing the out-of-state kids, they're getting us prepped for more of the top-tier kids that are going to be in the top of our brackets. And I think it's really good to just see different people that we're going to have to wrestle. It's going to help us in the long run for sure.
I'm saying a lot of wrestlers say they don't scout opponents, so you've been ranked pretty much your whole 3-year career now. When you see a top-tier wrestler maybe from out of state that you've never seen anything at all from, is that refreshing, or is it nerve-wracking to go in where you have no idea what his tendencies are?
Not really. Really, this year we've been focusing on our mindset for sure. No matter who we're going up against, that we just act like it's the same wrestler and just go out there and just another match.
So, Jace, we've been kind of tracking your record chase all along here. Maybe tied it Saturday at Garden City.
It's for sure tied, yeah.
At least tied.
It's for sure tied. I believe it's 52, and I'm at 52. So hopefully I get a match Thursday, and hopefully I get to break that sucker.
Yeah, so we're trying to track it. Kansas Sports Hall of Fame has it at 49, but you guys found one that's 52.
Right, so the Hall of Fame does have it at 49. But if you look at Kansas State records, it's 52. So I'll make sure I break the 52, so there's no questions asked.
So what is the mindset when you go into your dual match Thursday?
Score as many points as I can, and if I do that, hopefully it takes care of itself. And if not, then we'll break it at regionals.
Does your mindset change after you break it, or you still just want to kind of dominate people?
Yes and no. So going into regionals, we'll probably wrestle close to the same. We're going to get after them. We're going to get our practice in. We're going to get as many takedowns. Going into the state tournament, I got to look for pins. The reason being is there are a little more team points. I think like half a point more if you ping somebody than tech fall them. So therefore, I will be in the state tournament. I will be pinning guys if I can.
Since that's such a different game for you of sorts, I don't know the difference. I mean, I know points on a tech fall, but you've gotten pretty close in a tech fall most time, but you're just going to finish it out, or is it a completely different reroute of your strategy?
Yes and no. Normally, I mean, if I get you on your back, I mean, you're going to fight hard, I'm going to let you off. Here, I've got to be a little meaner. So I'm really just, I'm going to be meaner. I'm not letting you get off your back. It's just it's the same thing. How I'm wrestling absolutely will not change by any means. I'm going to do the same moves, same mindset going into it. The only difference being when the only mindset change is when I get you on your back, you're not going to get off your back. So that's the only thing that will change there.
Been listening to Panther senior Jay Schartz, who just tied the state career record for 52 tech falls. Let's hear from junior Tristan Tomlinson. So now you're a junior. You've been ranked for 3 straight years. I don't know that maybe you've dropped out a week over 3 years, but pretty much a constant. Yet you've changed a lot of weight. How have you done that?
I'm not sure. I've just grown a bunch. Probably grown a good 6-7 inches since my freshman year. Started in at 106 up to 38 now, and I've just keep trucking up pretty much.
And I think Jace was saying you're jumping. It's a big deal to go up 1 or 2 weight classes, but you're skipping 2 weight classes a year. What's that mean for you?
That means I just got to get stronger. That's the biggest thing. Coming in from 106, you have mostly freshmen. Now that I'm up to 38, I got a mix of everybody. And most people at 38 are all short and stocky. I'm real tall, so I really need to get stronger to stick up there.
And we're seeing that on the girls' side with Micah Elliott, such a kind of a tall girl. How's the leverage game with you, those extra 7 to 8 inches you've got?
For me, I'm real lengthy, so I have a good sweep. I can get around the corner real good, and my cradle's always there. That's been a bread and butter since I started wrestling, that I'm just real long, that I can cradle from pretty much wherever I'm at.
We talked to Jace a couple weeks ago, but we'll get your side of the story too. How'd you get into wrestling?
Really, my whole family's been in wrestling. I started when I was 4, and my dad's just been keeping me going through since there. I've really liked it the whole time. I really have love for it.
And, Jace, you can chime in on this one. We're going to have Hayden Kelly in, so he's ranked at 150. Tristan, you're at 138. Jace, 165. How big are those 12 pounds, or even when you were young or a little bit lighter? Sometimes those are a 6-pound difference. When you're talking elite wrestling, how big is 6 pounds when you're out there on the mat?
It's huge. 2 or 3 pounds. If you want to be as big as possible. So as far as room wrestling, I mean, I can roll around with them. I can go lighter. I mean, I can't be quite as mean. So there's a thing called like flow wrestling, or it's sparring. So, you know, like MMA fighters, they spar. So I can spar a lot with them, or a lot of people call it just normal play wrestling. So you wrestle through positions, but it's not full speed or full strength. So I'm figuring out positionings, where my hips need to be, what hand I need to grab, you know, all these little things I can do with them. And but I can't go full live, just the fact, you know, I'm 12 pounds, I'm, you know, 20 pounds bigger. So yeah, you can still get better for sure. You can still teach them things. They teach me things, roll around through positions. I just can't, you know, go quite full strength on them.
So nobody wants to go up against Trent Kern in practice?
I wrestle him every day live. I'm the only one that, I mean, someone's got to do it. So, yeah, that's my job every day. But
well, we were going to hype up Hayden Kelly if he was going to be here today. So he's at 150, and you said you're his training partner, Tristan. So how big is having a quality-ranked kid like Hayden in there with you?
Yeah, it's really nice. He's so much bigger than me, so I really got to learn how to be a lot faster than him. And then once I go from wrestling him in practice, then go into some people that are a little bit lighter, it's really benefit. Because I got to be stronger to wrestle him, and when I'm as stronger as wrestle people at 150, that's going to make people at 38 not as strong, and it just helps a lot.
And I think probably like in softball, if you have a good pitcher, it's going to lead to better batting because you see live practicing.
Yes.
So, yeah, how much on these big programs like your Goddards are these, you get groups of lightweights, middleweights that one turns into 4 or 5 of them?
Well, the difference between Goddard and those guys is they do this thing called open rooms. So they have all these, you know, Newton, Mays, Valley Center, and so they'll open room, and so they'll all come train with each other. So instead of just training the same guy, you know, you might have a state champ that's only 20 minutes away from you. So we don't really have that. We're not as lucky to have that because, you know, we have maybe Hoisington that doesn't have near as many guys, or Hayes, but, you know, the closest good teams to us are probably 2 hours away, and they have, you know, 10 good teams within 30 minutes of each other. So that is kind of how they jump ahead of us a little bit. So we have to really work way hard. I mean, they have better training partners than what we do right next to each other. So we have to, you know, go with what we can get.
One more maybe for you here, and either one of you can explain this. Going into super regionals, for regionals as opposed to, so it used to be the old, top 6 advanced?
4.
Top 4. What is the super regional, and how do you get to state?
So basically, it's that same thing where I just told you all those teams were in the same regional, those 4. So it was, you know, Mays, Newton, and Goddard, and that wasn't fair. I mean, they were having the top 4 people at state in the one regional, so they had to make it a super regional to add these other teams to kind of make, you know, you could be the 5th best in the state and not even get into state if you're into that regional. So that's where the super regional came from.
Good stuff, and we still had plenty to talk about, but maybe some other time because you had just another crazy tiebreaker. But good stuff from junior Tristan Tomlinson, ranked at 138, and senior Jay Sharts, who is hopefully he will break that state career tech fall record on Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Good luck, fellas. More Sports Day after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
That's our show. Talk to you tomorrow.